All right, so we're diving into Edward today,
Okay.
and you specifically wanted to talk about his book, Power Volume 3.
Yes, that's the one.
And it sounds like you're really interested in his ideas about spiritual growth, which, I mean, he definitely talks about that a lot.
He does. He does. And that's what I'm most interested in, but I want to make sure I'm not, being led astray.
Right. Well, that's understandable. There's some pretty intense stuff in this book.
There is.
And in some of these YouTube talks he's given, I mean, he really doesn't hold back.
No, he doesn't.
So it's great that you brought this to us because I think it's a really important conversation to have.
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to figure out, like, okay, is this resonating with me?
Right.
Or is this something I should be cautious about?
Exactly.
And honestly, that's kind of our mission today, to really dig into Edward's core arguments.
Yes.
And, look at his methods and give you the tools to think critically about all this.
I love that.
Because, he jumps right in talking about a spiritual war.
Right.
For our very souls. Like, no messing around.
No, he's very serious. It's a very urgent message.
Extremely. He's not subtle at all.
Yeah, it's like a life or death kind of thing for him.
It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And he paints this picture of the world like drowning in negativity.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean like, bad vibes or whatever.
No.
He's talking about negative entities.
Entities, right?
Actual spiritual beings.
Yes, and they're everywhere.
Everywhere.
Working to him.
And that they are influencing our thoughts.
Right.
Our actions, even our, everyday mishaps.
Yes, he talks about that in one of the YouTube videos.
Right. Like you lose your keys
or
you trip over nothing.
Exactly.
He's like, nope, that's not just you being clumsy.
It's those entities messing with you.
Messing with you. And then it gets even more intense. Yeah. Because he believes that these entities, they feed off of our negative emotions.
Yes, especially our sexual energy.
That's a big one for him.
It is a huge one for him. He sees sexuality as being confined to this lower spiritual plane.
Right. It's like the least evolved part of ourselves.
Yeah. And it's controlled by Satan.
Of course.
He even criticizes traditional Saint Matt for being too slow in dealing with these forces on this plane.
Which is interesting because he draws a lot from Saint Matt in his own teachings.
Right. But he calls his approach Saint Matt 2.0.
Saint Matt 2.0.
Faster, more direct, more confrontational.
More in line with this whole spiritual war idea.
Precisely.
And it makes sense because you specifically said you're worried about, being misled.
Yes.
And Edward provides these tests almost.
He does.
To identify if these negative entities are around.
Like what?
Well, for example, he has this one where he tells you to stand perfectly still.
Okay.
And if you're constantly fidgeting or getting distracted, he sees that as a sign that there could be an entity like messing with you.
Wow. Okay.
So he's saying there's a war going on.
Mm-hmm.
These negative entities are everywhere.
Everywhere.
And we need to be able to identify them if we want to fight back.
Okay, so how do we fight back?
And it's not just like these random negative entities, right? Okay. This is where it gets even more, I don't know about controversial, but definitely more specific.
Yeah, you flagged this whole section about Hindu deities.
Yeah.
And I can see why.
I mean, it's one thing to say like, oh, you got to watch out for negative energy.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's calling out like specific deities.
Yes. He's saying that they're basically part of the problem.
Part of the problem.
He even compares them to demons.
Which is a pretty bold statement.
It is. I mean, how do you feel about that? You're interested in exploring different spiritual traditions.
Right.
Does that kind of throw you off at all?
Well, it's definitely something to consider, right?
Sure.
Because it speaks to this larger thing with Edward where he's very skeptical of anything that he sees as a distraction from what he believes is the true path.
Right, like channeling, for example.
Yeah, he's not a fan.
Or the whole concept of the observer self.
Which, just to be clear for our listeners, is this idea that like a part of you exists beyond your thoughts and emotions.
Right, and it sounds kind of nice in theory, but Edward sees it as another form of deception.
Like it's making you passive.
Exactly.
When you should be, fighting back against these negative forces.
Right.
He's very action-oriented.
Extremely.
And he really goes after this whole idea of creating your own reality.
Which is funny because that's like a very popular idea in a lot of spiritual circles.
Oh, yeah.
But Edward's like, no, that's just an excuse to ignore the very real suffering.
And the very real problems in the world.
Exactly. And to not take responsibility for your own actions.
It's almost like he's saying like, look, I know this stuff is tough.
Right.
But you can't just like wish it away.
Exactly. You have to actually confront it.
So he's not just offering an alternative path here.
Right.
He's actively critiquing other paths.
He is, and even seemingly harmless ideas.
Like listening with your left ear?
Okay, that one's a little out there, I'll admit.
It is, but it shows how far his skepticism goes.
It really does.
And it makes you wonder, like, what is it about these specific things that he finds so threatening?
It's like he sees danger everywhere.
He does. And you know what's interesting is that he actually talks about starting out as skeptical of Christianity.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he wasn't always this, like, devout believer.
It was fascinating.
But then he had some experiences and he kind of came around to it.
But even then, he still wrestles with certain aspects of it.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Like, he's not afraid to say, like, hey, this part of the Bible doesn't really sit well with me.
Which is kind of refreshing in a way.
It is. It shows that he's thinking for himself.
Exactly. And that's what I appreciate about him. Even though some of his ideas are out there, he encourages his readers to question everything.
Even his own teachings.
Yeah, he's like, don't just take my word for it. Go and test it out for yourself.
Which is a good reminder for all of us.
Absolutely. Blind faith can be risky no matter what you believe in.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing this interesting tension with Edward.
Okay, I like that word, tension.
On one hand, he's deeply skeptical.
Deeply.
But on the other hand, he's also encouraging people to think for themselves.
To not just accept anything blindly.
Right, and that's where it gets tricky. Because while he's all about critical thinking,
Yeah.
he also presents a very black and white view of the world.
It's true. Good versus evil light versus darkness.
And there's no room for nuance.
Not really, no.
Like even the type of sound you're drawn to can indicate the presence of specific entities, according to him.
Oh, yeah. He's got this whole thing about good sound and bad sound.
Sound voodoo, basically.
Sound voodoo. I like that.
But it's a lot to take in, right?
It is. It can feel kind of overwhelming. Like, how do you even know what to believe?
Right. And that's something to be mindful of.
Yeah.
Because it can be easy to get caught up
Totally.
in this idea that there's like a demon behind every corner.
Exactly. And that everything is a test.
But amidst all of that,
Yeah.
there is another side to Edward,
A softer side.
a more hopeful side.
Yeah.
He talks about the power of prayer, for example,
He does.
and connecting with a loving God.
Yes. A God who wants a deep personal relationship with us.
And you can feel that sincerity
Absolutely.
when he talks about it.
Yeah.
Like in that prayer he shared.
My beloved soul light.
Yes. It's beautiful, actually.
It is. There's a real vulnerability there, I think. There's a real tenderness in his voice when he talks about that relationship.
It is interesting to see that contrast, though, right?
It is.
Like on one hand, you have this warrior battling demons.
Right.
And on the other hand, you have this soul yearning for connection.
Exactly. It's like he embodies both of those things.
He really does.
Mhm.
And it makes me think about this whole thing with sound. Because, you know, he talks a lot about what he calls sound voodoo.
He does.
And I'm curious, like, what do you think about that? Why do you think he puts so much emphasis on sound?
Well, I think for him, it's all about energy, right?
Okay.
Like sound is just another form of energy. And he believes that it can either purify us or pollute us.
So there's good sound and bad sound.
Basically, yeah. He's particularly drawn to what he calls right-sided sound,
Right-sided sound.
which he believes is inherently good. It's like this healing, energizing force.
And he even created those audio files, right?
He did. Yeah, with like specific frequencies and tones that he believes can help to clear out negative energy.
And connect you with the divine.
Exactly. Although, to be fair, we should probably mention that we're not going to subject our listeners to those today.
Yeah, probably a good call.
But I do think there's something to be said for the power of sound in general.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, think about how music makes you feel.
Or even certain sounds in nature.
Exactly. Like the ocean waves crashing on the shore or the wind rustling through the leaves.
It can be incredibly calming.
Or even energizing, depending on the sound.
Right. So it's not like Edward is just making this stuff up.
No, not at all. I mean, the idea of using sound for healing or spiritual growth is ancient.
Totally. Think about like Gregorian chants
Yes. Or Sufi music.
or Buddhist chanting.
All of these traditions recognize the power of sound to shift our consciousness.
Right. But where Edward seems to diverge is with this whole left-sided sound thing,
Ah, yes. Left-sided sound.
which he believes is inherently dangerous,
It's like the dark side of sound for him.
and that the sounds we're drawn to can actually reveal the presence of specific negative entities.
Right, like if you're really into death metal,
He might say you've got some demons hanging around,
something like that, yeah. It's definitely one of his more out there ideas.
to say the least.
Yeah.
But it highlights this thing we keep coming back to,
What's that?
this tension in his teachings.
Oh, right. Between critical thinking and kind of like spiritual paranoia.
Exactly. Because on one hand, he's all about questioning everything.
Right. Don't just take my word for it. Go and experience it for yourself.
But then on the other hand, he's saying like, oh, but be careful.
Because there are all these traps and pitfalls and negative influences everywhere.
It's like he's giving you a map, but then also saying, like, watch out for all the monsters.
Right, and you're never quite sure if the monsters are real or if it's all in your head.
And I think that's a question that each of us has to answer for ourselves.
I agree, because ultimately we're each on our own unique spiritual journey.
And what works for one person might not work for another.
Exactly, and that's the beauty of it. There's no one right way.
And I think that's something to keep in mind, especially when you're exploring someone like Edward.
Right. Because as much as he might believe that he has the answers.
And that a small group of dedicated individuals can, like, win this spiritual war.
It's still up to each of us to decide what we believe.
And how we want to live our lives.
Exactly. And to trust our own inner guidance.
Which is what this deep dive is all about.
Giving you the tools to navigate these complex ideas.
And to make your own informed decisions.
So that you can continue on your path with clarity and confidence.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the teachings of Edward.
Until next time.
Thanks for listening, everybody.